copper, silver, gold, platinum, etc. can be the investment vehicle that some people look at. But for a lot of us, it's also the collecting of history. What's happened in the past? What are some of the people, places, and things that are just special and commemorated? Well, every 2 or 3 shows, those of you that have been with us before, know that we go back in history. Not to our colonial period, which is a fun one, 250 years old. We're going back to, well, Europe in its infancy. Tonight, we have a special coin that we haven't talked about for years. It's known as the Crusader King, the Crusader Silver, going back to the Third Crusade. It is Leo I, and the way they package this and put it together, it is special. Love the holder. Big kudos to NGC right out of the chute. But if you do yourself a Googling, Levon I of Armenia, right? You're going to have it show up as he is the Crusader King is his nickname. And it's partly because if you look at Armenia, which is basically Asia Minor, and if that doesn't work for you, how about to the right on the map of Greece, right? Which is eastern part into below it, the Middle East itself, all right? And again, going back in time to, in this case, give or take 1200. We're in, what, right now? We're 2025. So this coin's from 800 years ago. So, Levon I, known as Leo I, right, is put on the pulpit, so to speak, as king. He's ordained by the Pope, and the reason why is his country was the waypoint for all the European crusaders. Those from England, Richard the Lionheart, those from France, those from Spain, those that joined the Holy War into Jerusalem. This was a spot where they would stop, take on provisions, grab more pack animals, etc. So it's known as the, basically, Crusader holdout and flow. So he gets the nickname of being the Crusader King. However, if you look at the time capsule, he was made the king in 1187. Starting in 1198, about a decade later, he changed his coins to match his nickname. And that's the fun part of this story. Right? That's the fun part of this story. Because at that time, the silver coins, and these are beautiful silver coins from basically 1200, 800 years ago, you have on one side the king, right? And on the other side, you have, well, 2 lions and the cross, right? Which are symbols of the Crusades themselves. So when they came to his country, they would trade with his coins. His coins would go all over Europe because of the fact that they were tradable and usable as silver, but the other is the symbolism made sense to the people around it. So they're known as silver trams, which it references here. The actual coin here references on the label from NGC what you're looking at, right? And in this case, 2 lions and the cross, and the other, the king himself. Just beautiful setups. Here is the last question I have to ask. If you go back to colonial America, 250 years ago, right? 250 years ago. What would a coin from our colonial period, this nice, this much detail, be selling for? That would be, give or take, 200, 250 years old, right? Will be the bust series, and you're not getting them for $100 this nice. How did this kind of stuff happen? Well, part of, going back to Roman days and others, because this is more towards the Byzantine Empire, the fall of Rome and the creation of the new, right, is the fact that when troops would travel, they would have their wagons with their chests with silver, etc. in it for provisions to buy as they move from one place to another, but also having funds available to pay the soldiers that are, well, with them. When you go into battle, it's very customary to bury your stuff, so that way if you are less than successful, you are overrun, and you need to retreat your position, your valuables aren't obvious. There's a flag there saying, hey, you overran us, now take all of our money, all right? So what happens? You get overrun potentially, and then years later, what happens? Somebody finds them. In this case, this particular hoard was found a couple of years ago. So you're looking at 800 plus years in vases, traditionally, buried in the sand. Wonderful stuff. Outright wonderful. We did find one of our competitors with this coin. It's the actual coin, which is Levon the First from Armenia. It's a silver tram, and the symbolisms are identical. It was his latter coin, the coin he made with his name on it as the Crusader King. So him on one side, the two lions and the cross on the other. Just the coin in a flip was selling for $125. Now, all of ours are better quality. They are certified by NGC. NGC put together this beautiful label tying together all of this coin. But as you can see right now from looking at this, look at that. The detail here, the two lions and the cross right down the middle. It is all about the symbolism of the day and the story of King Leo I, known as the Crusader King of the Third Crusade. Look at our price, $99.95. Yeah. Unfortunate thing is I only had a few of them, which is why we're only spending a few minutes on the topic. Love this part of history. If you want to get some great history, either look for the reference books or Google this topic. But again, it's Asia Minor, which is basically to the right of Greece on the map, right? The country at that time was Armenia. Levon was ruler from 1187 through 1219, but the coin, this coin, where he changed the imagery to him and then the Crusaders, which is the lions and the cross, that's what this is about. That started in 1198, as the holder says. So a silver coin from 800 years ago, affordable, and the quality you're looking at, that's why this one's special.